Imagine waking up one day in 2025 and realizing you or someone you love might be forced to leave the United States. Not because of a crime, not because of a mistake, but due to sudden immigration changes. Sounds scary? Well, it's already happening. New rules are being proposed that could impact millions. Green card holders, temporary workers, even long-time residents. But before we dive in, tell me this. What color is the U.S. immigration visa stamp? A. Red B, blue C, black D, green. Type the correct answer in the comments. And here's something to think about. Which group is most at risk of being deported under the new rules? Students, workers, or asylum seekers? I'll be revealing the answer to that in the course of this video, so stay tuned till the end. Reason 1. Stricter green card renewals. In 2025, renewing your green card might start feeling less like a routine process and more like preparing for a courtroom drama, minus the lawyer yelling, "Objection!" The U.S. government is now digging deeper than ever into applicants' pasts. And we're not just talking about serious crimes here. Even small infractions, like overstaying your visa for a few weeks back in 2007, or that one speeding ticket you forgot about, could now trigger red flags during your renewal process. Immigration officers are being given expanded discretion to deny green card renewals based on character concerns or minor immigration violations. In short, it's like your record is being put under a microscope, and they're not wearing gloves. Now here's where it gets concerning. There are an estimated 13.2 million green card holders in the United States. That's like the entire population of Illinois suddenly having to walk on eggshells. Many of them have lived, worked, and paid taxes in the U.S. for decades. But under these new rules, even a small past mistake could mean no renewal, and possibly even deportation. Imagine spending 20 years building your life in the U.S., only to be told your parking ticket from 2010 just disqualified you. Sounds absurd? Well, it's the new reality, and if you think this is the worst part, oh no, my friend. What comes next might shake even the most settled immigrants to their core. So, buckle up, we're just getting started. Reason 2. Elimination of birthright citizenship. For over 150 years, the 14th Amendment has been a pillar of American identity, stating that anyone born on U.S. soil is automatically a U.S. citizen. But in 2025, that long-standing promise is under fire. Some lawmakers are now pushing to reinterpret or even repeal birthright citizenship, especially for children born to undocumented immigrants. The logic? They argue it's a loophole being used to gain legal footholds in the U.S. But critics say this would be rewriting history with an eraser, not a pen. If successful, it could reshape what it means to be American, starting from the crib. And here's the kicker. This isn't just a theoretical debate for legal scholars. This change could immediately impact over 300,000 babies born every year. Babies who might be stateless, caught in a legal gray zone before they even learn to crawl. Families that came to the U.S. hoping to build a future could suddenly find their children without legal identity, without rights, and without protection. Imagine telling your grandchild they were born in the land of the free, but they're not really from here. Scary, right? And if you think babies are the only ones caught in this immigration storm, wait till we get to students, workers, and entire families who might be sent packing. Stay with me, because this next one affects even those who came legally. Reason 3. Visa overstay crackdown. You know that old saying, better late than never? Well, the U.S. government just replaced it with late? Sorry, you're banned. In 2025, the U.S. is rolling out one of the strictest visa overstay crackdowns in history. Visitors who stay even a few days past their visa expiration are now being flagged by a new AI-powered tracking system that monitors airport exits, border crossings, and even credit card swipes. It's like having a digital immigration officer following your every move, with a memory sharper than your nosy neighbor. And guess what? There are no warnings anymore. Overstay by a week, and you could be facing a 3 to 10-year re-entry ban. Harsh? Definitely. Real? Oh yes, this policy doesn't just target intentional overstayers. Imagine someone who fell ill, missed a flight, or simply lost track of the date while visiting family. Boom, flagged, barred, and possibly even marked for deportation if caught within US borders. With millions of visitors entering the country each year, even a 1% overstay rate now means tens of thousands being blacklisted annually. And what's worse, many won't even realize they're in trouble until they try to come back and get turned away at the airport like they forgot their passport to their own wedding. This isn't just about tourists anymore. Students, workers, and even long-term residents on temporary visas are all in the crosshairs. And if you think this sounds like Big Brother, just wait till we talk about what's happening at the state level. It gets personal. Reason 4. Asylum rules rewritten. For decades, the United States has been seen as a safe haven, a place where people running from war, persecution, or political violence could seek protection and start over. But in 2025, that lifeline is tightening fast. The US government has rewritten its asylum rules, making the qualifications not just stricter, but nearly impossible for many to meet. One of the most controversial changes is the introduction of the Safe Third Country clause. In simple terms, if someone passed through another country on their way to the US, say Mexico or Guatemala, they're now expected to have applied for asylum there first. If they didn't, their US asylum request can be immediately rejected, no matter how desperate their situation. This shift has placed more than 1.2 million pending asylum applications under serious review. Many applicants, especially from Central and South America, may now be disqualified without ever getting a fair hearing. And here's where it gets unsettling. Families who fled gang violence in Honduras, political chaos in Venezuela, or drug war threats in El Salvador may soon be told they have no right to stay and no place to go back to. Imagine waiting years for your asylum interview, only to be denied because you didn't fill out paperwork in a country where you were never safe to begin with. It's like being turned away from the ER because you didn't try a home remedy first. And the worst part, this is only the fourth reason. The deeper we go, the more these rules start looking less like immigration policy and more like an escape room with no exit. Reason 5. Public charge rule returns. Imagine choosing between feeding your children today or risking your entire future in the US tomorrow. That's the impossible dilemma many immigrants are now facing as the public charge rule makes a dramatic comeback in 2025. Under this policy, if you've ever used certain government benefits, like food stamps, SNAP, Medicaid, housing assistance, or even low-income subsidies, you could be flagged as a public charge. Translation: the government may consider you too dependent on aid and deny you a green card or permanent residency. It doesn't matter if you've been paying taxes for years or contributing to the economy. If you leaned on the system when times got tough, it could cost you your American dream. And this rule hits hardest where it hurts most: low-income families and elderly immigrants. Think about it. During the pandemic, millions relied on Medicaid or food assistance just to survive. Now that moment of survival could come back like a ghost at the green card interview. It's like being penalized for wearing a life jacket after a shipwreck. The scariest part? Many immigrants are now avoiding hospitals, food programs, and childcare benefits altogether, just to stay under the radar. But how long can families keep dodging help before it breaks them? And wait till you see what happens when states start playing immigration enforcer. Yes, it gets even messier from here. Reason 6. Work visa caps reduced. In 2025, getting a U.S. work visa feels a bit like trying to get into an exclusive nightclub. Except, instead of bouncers, you're dealing with bureaucracy. And instead of music, there's just the sound of immigration officers saying, "We're full." The U.S. has significantly reduced the number of H-1B visas for skilled workers, and seasonal work visas like H-2A and H-2B, which means fewer spots for international tech professionals, nurses, caregivers, construction workers, and farm laborers. These aren't luxury positions. They're essential roles that keep Silicon Valley running, hospitals staffed, and America's food supply growing. But now, thanks to tightening political pressure and domestic labor reform agendas, even the most qualified foreign professionals are being turned away at the gates. The result? Tech companies can't fill critical roles. Hospitals in rural areas are short on staff, and farmers, especially in California, Florida, and the Midwest, are struggling to harvest crops on time. One apple farmer in Washington even joked, "Looks like I'll need to train my cows to pick the apples this year." But behind the jokes is real fear. Hundreds of thousands of foreign workers, especially from countries like India, the Philippines, and Mexico, may now find themselves without options. And what happens when these denied applicants already have lives in the U.S.? Homes, families, dreams? That's when tough decisions and heartbreaking goodbyes begin. And just wait until we talk about how states are now passing their own immigration laws. Yes, it's getting even more complicated. Reason 7. State-level anti-immigration laws. While the federal government is busy tightening immigration rules, some U.S. states, most notably Florida and Texas, have decided to take matters into their own hands. These states are passing aggressive anti-immigration laws that give local police the power to question immigration status during routine traffic stops, workplace raids, or even random encounters. It's turning routine errands, like dropping your kids at school or driving to work, into moments of anxiety for many immigrant families. And the result? A growing climate of fear, silence, and self-isolation. In some neighborhoods, people are even avoiding reporting crimes, out of fear that police might turn from protectors into deportation agents. This shift is especially terrifying for mixed-status families, where some members are citizens while others are not. One wrong turn, one broken taillight, and suddenly you're in an interrogation over your legal status. Sound like something from a dystopian novel? Nope, it's happening right now. Immigrant communities across Texas and Florida have reported increased racial profiling, wrongful detentions, and social stigma. And let's be honest, when laws differ so drastically from state to state, it starts to feel like crossing into a new country every time you cross a state line. So, where can immigrants actually feel safe? And what happens when these laws spread to other states? Stick around, because the next reason affects even those who already have legal status. And it hits right at the mailbox. Reason 8. New deportation fast-track policies. In 2025, the United States is rolling out a new deportation fast-track system that's about to make immigration even scarier. This isn't your typical drawn-out legal process with a judge and a jury. Under these new policies, certain groups of immigrants could be deported immediately, without even seeing the inside of a courtroom. Imagine that. You've spent years living and working in the U.S., paying taxes, raising kids, and contributing to your community. But if you're caught within 100 miles of the border, no hearing, no due process, just bam! You're on the first flight home. It's like having your life snatched away in an instant, all because of a Border Patrol officer's decision. And here's where it gets chilling. The U.S. government is prioritizing speed over fairness. Immigrants living near the southern border, especially in states like Texas, Arizona, and California, will face a rapid, no-questions-asked deportation process that skips all the usual steps, like an express lane at the immigration office. But the destination is anywhere but here. Families can be torn apart, longtime residents sent back to countries they haven't seen in decades, all in the name of national security or border enforcement. Now, you might be thinking, well, this doesn't affect me. But consider this. If these fast-track policies spread, it could mean fewer protections for immigrants nationwide. So, what's next? Stick with me, because the next reason might make you rethink just how safe your status in the U.S. really is. As we've seen, the changes in U.S. immigration laws in 2025 are creating a wave of uncertainty, fear, and hardship for millions of immigrants, both legal and undocumented. From the crackdown on green card renewals to the aggressive state-level laws, the landscape is shifting faster than ever. It's clear that the path to living and working in the U.S. is becoming more complex and risky. And as these policies evolve, so will the challenges faced by immigrant communities. But what does this mean for the future? Are these changes truly in the best interest of the country? Or are we on the brink of losing the values that once made America a beacon of hope? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on how these policies might impact the world. Stay tuned for more on the Discovery Trail, where we uncover the stories that matter most.